All right. A bit late, but that's okay. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Open Matt Show. I'm your host, as always, Matt. And yeah, thanks for tuning in today. Last show of the month, because next week it'll be June. So it's kind of crazy. We're already halfway through the year. Uh, anyways, today's episode, just gonna discuss, the things that went down last weekend. Mainly, I would say the biggest headline, Alexander Usyk versus Rico Verhoeven. It was kind of a sleeper fight going into it. I didn't talk about it at all on my last episode because honestly, I kind of forgot about it until the day before. Uh, because aside from like seeing the construction and the setup around the pyramids, I didn't really hear much about it. Uh, Sorry, guys. There's an echo. I gotta. Okay. Didn't really hear much about it, to be honest. But when it was announced, I was pretty excited for it. I was disappointed we didn't get Rico versus Ngannou on Netflix, but um, this wasn't a bad alternative in my opinion. Um, we're also going to talk about the UFC card this weekend: UFC China, UFC Macau, uh, Figgy versus is Song Yadong. That's a pretty solid fight. Honestly, I haven't really taken a look at the card, so we'll be taking a look at that, and I'll be kind of making my picks off the fly. And that's really about it. I feel like nothing else has really taken place, nothing new, unless I've missed something, which I don't think I have. Uh, Obviously, we have McGregor coming back. I kind of talked about that last episode. I do want to touch on that a little bit more in terms of the impact it'll have on the landscape, because with Scott Coker coming back into the game, I guess that's something else I can mention too. MVP, UFC, PFL. Things are getting real interesting. We're kind of heading into uncharted territories, especially with all these mega events like the White House, fights at the pyramid, things like that. Um, I'm not going to act like I'm some expert in the industry, but from an outsider perspective, a consumer perspective, it's all very interesting. So we're gonna be talking about a bit of everything today. So something I do want to start with. Um, oh shit! Sorry, I forgot to set that up. Something I really do want to start with is like I said, the main thing that happened last weekend, Usyk versus Rico. Um, People are saying it's robbery of the century. Now, I won't lie, I didn't watch it live. I was driving actually at the time I got home, like about 20 minutes after it ended, unfortunately. I did go back and watch it, obviously. And I had Rico. Now, I had Rico up by like, I don't know, maybe like 4 to 5 rounds over Usyk at that point. Um, Trying to do the math in my head, was like 8-3 maybe. Uh, I, I don't know. It might have been closer a little bit. I thought Usyk didn't look as bad as initially described. However, what I will absolutely say, what I could confidently say, is that Usyk lost that fucking fight. I love Usyk. I do. I do think he's like truly the best heavyweight boxer of this generation. Truly, the way he, as a smaller man, beat up Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua twice. I thought that was very uh, just that's just amazing. You don't see people do that, and he did it. Uh, that was a big reason why I was excited we got Rico versus Usyk, because Rico in his own sport is what people argue Usyk is. He is the heavyweight goat of the modern era. Some people may say of all time. What was it? Unbeaten for 10 years. Crazy fucking stats. He was a hot prospect on the market. We do know that the UFC offered him a respectable deal, and this is per Rico. He said they came with they came right, so they probably offered him a good amount of money, which they should. Obviously, hindsight is 2020. They should have offered him more, because dare I say, Rico was probably the best heavyweight prospect out there, including Gable Stevenson. Um, I mean, yeah, I get Gable's an Olympic athlete or whatever, but this guy's a prime heavyweight combat, like a real combat sport athlete, and like punches and kicks. Um, yeah, we know Netflix is in talks with them. He ended up going with Turkey, and Usyk he did say because he said he owes Turkey or something like that. He told him he would. A little weird, but clearly a nice guy. Um, hold on, let me get this up. There we go. So these are the highlights of the fight. I do want to look at these. Let me mute it. I do want to look at these and kind of. I haven't actually looked at this official video, but it's very short. I'm curious what they're kind of going to show us. I hope I don't get copyright strike. Okay, here we go. Oh, dude, the videos comparing Rico's style to shit. What movie is it? Jim Carrey. That clip of Jim Carrey in the parking lot. Doing the boxing. Damn, I'm tweaking, but actually. I was telling him, I said, I feel like Rico was gonna have success just because of how much bigger he is and how awkward he is. I kind of thought he'd be able to go in there and do what he did to Usyk. I saw him kind of winning. They want to go back to this knockdown. They're not really fans of these crossover fights like this, and they're fucking haters. But the fact that at the highest of levels, we've had Mayweather, McGregor, which you can say Floyd carried McGregor. I don't really believe that though. Not fully, not fully. I do think McGregor was never going to win that, regardless. Uh, and that like a more serious and prime Mayweather probably would have pieced him up a little bit more. Um, but he looked good there. He didn't look bad necessarily. His stock didn't drop because of it, I would say. Uh, and then you have obviously Ngannou, Fury. We don't count Joshua. We don't count Joshua. We all know the truth. Ngannou was drugged in the locker room uh, by opposition. We'll put it at that. Very common in boxing. Do you guys remember the quote unquote fresh paint fumes? What do you think that was? Yeah, that's what really happened there. Um, Allegedly. Uh, Ngannou won't say it, but I will. That's how they play the game over there, and that's all right. That's all right. You should have known. Um, but so I'm kind of rambling. Look at that stop. That's awful. So we know Rico's coach, Peter Fury. He talked to the judge or the judge. He talked to the referee on the flight home, and they're absolutely disgusting. It just doesn't seem right that Rico got robbed like that. Now we do know Rico wants a rematch. There are other things he could go do easily. This was only a one fight deal. If I were Rico, I'm taking a shit ton of money, fighting Ngannou on Netflix, and then coming back to boxing. That's what I'm doing. Because if he beats Ngannou, then you could skip over the UFC. You could say, "Listen, I beat the best heavyweight out there." You could really sell that. And then if you go beat Usyk too, people you could really change the game and of how people view you. Um, so But he's probably not gonna do that though. He probably will just take an immediate rematch if they offer it, I imagine. Um, I know they wanted Usyk to fight somebody else, but let's be real, nobody gives a fuck about that. Whoever, what I don't even remember the dude's name, Kabayaba. Um, Nobody wants to see him fight Usyk. We want to see him rematch Rico. That's the fight that needs to be had. And yeah, I wish there was like really more to say. Uh, but there's nothing I can say that was awful. Yeah, I mean it's frustrating. Um, I mean either way, Rico is a way bigger star now because of it. He's probably gonna get a lot more money in this rematch. It would have been better if he won, but he probably got more attention. I don't know for the robbery than the victory, right? That's what I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. Um, but let's go ahead and move on from that. Like I said, there's nothing much more I can add to that. Let me know what you guys think. Bullshit stoppage or not. Uh, just let me know. Oh, let me switch my live chat. All right. So something I wanted to touch on, some interesting news, I think. I feel like I haven't seen the official announcement. I don't know if I'm tripping or not, but we got Ankalaev versus Khalil Roundtree. It was announced. Um, so this is a pretty good fight. I'm pretty excited for it. Uh, but I'm gonna be honest. I feel like Khalil's gonna get washed. But this is kind of a lose lose for Ankalaev. If Ankalaev gets hit like once or twice, if he gets beat up a little bit, it's gonna be a loss for him. He cannot look bad against Khalil Bumtree. I mean, Kalaev had a massive R loss, so to speak, in his last fight. He really, really did. And he really fucking did. Losing to Pereira like that after having Ali talk all that shit on Twitter. Um, and he kind of disappeared because of it. So uh, he really needs a win here. He needs to beat up Khalil Bumtree. Uh, I don't think Khalil's that good, to be honest. I mean, like he's dangerous and all that, but like I don't think that makes him good, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think he's a bit corny too. I know a lot of people hate him, and like I don't hate him like that. You know, I like watching him fight. I'll always love watching him fight, but um, you know, it's a bit corny. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I would think Uncle Live is gonna win. I do think Khalil actually poses a bit of a threat, especially early on. Similarly, if he comes out and just like blitzes Uncle Live the way Pereira did, I think that could give Uncle Live a lot of trouble actually, um, because Khalil does have power, but I don't think he has like the size and frame to really kind of impose himself on Uncle Live the way Pereira would be able to, especially with those leg kicks. Just throwing those out there from a distance. I think that'll play a massive, role there, as well as, Khalil just isn't as good as Alex Pereira, obviously. So, I mean, as it gets closer, what is this Azerbaijan? Is that where it's going to be? Um, in Baku? Uh, anyways, I got Uncle Live there. He really needs that victory. I just kind of wanted to touch on that. Um, but yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to UFC China, UFC Macau. I'm not tricking. I'm not tripping, right? Let me look up where this is. Let me make sure I'm not tripping. Macau's in. Let's look up where this is. Let's look up where it is. Where is it? Okay, Kotai. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm not tripping. Nepali. Should I have put UFC Macau in my thing? Maybe not UFC China. I don't know. Um. Anyways, I kind of want to take a look at this card. Now, I'm gonna be honest. I forgot about this card. I had to be reminded of its existence, and this is my first time really taking a look at it. And it's not terrible. Um, Kai Sakura, right, versus Smotherman. Low key, Smotherman's gonna whoop his ass. I'm not gonna lie. I am not gonna lie to you. Smotherman's low key about to whoop his ass. That might be a good pick right there. Um, Sigma Daerji. versus Alex Perez. That's actually a pretty solid opener. Jake Matthews, Carlson Harris, Kai Sakura, Cameron Smotherman. I don't. I feel like I don't know this dude. Um, Sergey. Okay, okay. I didn't know Sergey was on here. This is an interesting matchup. Okay. What the fuck? How the fuck did it? How the fuck is Alonzo Menefield a co-main event? What the hell? Dude, we are halfway through 2026 and Alonzo Menefield is a co-main event. What the fuck? Did his did his original opponent pull out or something? That's fucking hilarious. What the hell? I, I mean, I don't know how. I'm so confused. I'm trying to think. I think somebody pulled out of this fight. Somebody had to. Was it Yawn? Was it Yawn that pulled out? It may have been. I'm not. I don't remember, guys. I don't remember. But for the main event, we got Song. That's sorry. That's really funny. That threw me off guard. Song Yadong versus Davison Figueiredo. This is pretty solid. Although I do kind of agree with the odds there. I mean, I feel like Figgy kind of looks a little worse and worse each time out. A little bit slower. Just kind of a little bit more inaccurate. Uh, Anyways, let me go ahead and start with the bottom. Let's take a look. Alex Perez versus Sumaderji. I, you know what, guys? I'm sorry. I use UFC stats. I don't like to use I don't like to use anything else really. So let me take a look at Sumaderji. Who did he fight last? Shit, I cannot see. My camera, my camera's in the fucking way. God damn it. That is so funny. Like, is it Mitch Raposo? Jesus. What, Jesus Aguilar in March? What the fuck? I don't remember that. Jesus. I was gonna say I think I actually remember Mitch Raposo. I feel like I do remember that fight. Um, okay. Well, who did Alex Perez fight last? Gee, this is awful, man. I cannot see. I'm a dumbass. I don't know why I set up my camera in the fucking way. This is awful, bro. Here we go. Well, wait, why did it go to the next fight? I meant to go to Alex Perez. I'm tripping. I know I could check here too. I mean, I'm surprised Alex Perez is such a big favorite. He did beat Charles Johnson, right? Okay, gosh, I fucking hate the UFC website. This is awful. They could really like just make the best, thing like UFC stats or Tapology, but they just refuse to do it. They just make it fucking awful. Um, God forbid you want to pull it up on your phone or something. Um, I'm I don't remember. I feel like I remember Alex Perez looking a little crisp, but I low key think Sumer Deji can get it done. Um, oh fuck, is that what he weighed in last time? Maybe if he comes in, or did they agree to like a catch weight or something? I know they didn't weigh in yet, but um, I kind of want to take Sumer Deji. I don't want to take Sumer Deji, but I could low key see Alex Perez kind of piecing him up and possibly getting a finish if you get like late to the second round without him really, Sumadirji really kind of stepping up his own offense to get Perez off of you. Um, I mean, I this one's kind of hard for me because I'd be lying if I said I remember their fights off the top of my head. I didn't really, like I said, I'm kind of first reacting to this card right now. I really kind of forgot about this one. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot it was in fucking China, Macau. I really want to pick Sumaderji low key, but I just don't know if he'll be able to get Perez like the respect of Perez. I'm not sure if he'll be able to do it. They're kind of having a mid off here too. Um, I'll probably take the save pick here and go with Alex Perez because I do want to take the underdog with Smotherman a little bit later. Um, so I think I'm gonna go with Alex Perez here. Just that's probably the safe bet. There's no need to risk it this early. Um, how? I don't really know. Uh, I honestly, I could actually see a finish, but probably split decision if anything. Maybe a robbery split decision. Um, okay, Jake Matthews versus Carlston Harris. I do not know who this motherfucker is. I got to take a look who he fought last. I'm not gonna lie. Um, I'm not gonna lie. Shit. That was last year, over a year ago. Well, okay, that's really easy then. I don't need to know who this guy is then. I mean, if you have a year off between fights, you know, you're fucked. And Jake Matthews is pretty good, so he's gonna get knocked out probably. Uh, Jake Matthews, I think. No, I mean, Jake Matthews is all right. Better than like a year off like that. Uh, well, he has Jake Matthews had a year off too. Actually, I was gonna say, when was the last time he fought? It might have been a year actually. I want to say he fought recently in a war. Okay, it's kind of recently, kind of recently. Um, it wasn't too long ago though. But yeah, I would still pick Jake Matthews. I mean, this dude's been out for a year. Unless he's, we've had a lot of guys lately disappear for like a year or two, and then they come back in and they, they're in the best shape of their fucking lives, and you know, uh, USADA's no more. It is UFC's personal testing, and hey, I'm a fan of the enhanced games and things like that. I think we should encourage these guys to do that because, like, who really gives a fuck? Put all the cards on the table. You could add it on the tail of the tape as like stats, perks, things like that. Maybe like it's like NASCAR. There's certain limits of certain amounts, like you can balance it out. Um, you know, but that's just me. Uh, but I'm kind of rambling. Whatever. I got Jake Matthews. I mean, he's the heavy favorite for a reason. I know he's not like terrible. I don't know who this dude is, and he's last fought over a year ago. So unless he's like fucking Yusuf Belguri, uh, probably ain't all that. Up next, we got Kaya Sakura versus Cameron Smotherman. All right, this is the one I think like some money can be made, man. I low key think Cameron Smotherman can do this. Now I could be putting too much credence, could be putting too much respect on that Tim Elliott win over Kaya Sakura. It's possible because I did think Tim Elliott would win his last fight, and he did not. Uh, he did not at all. But I do think Cameron Smotherman is pretty solid when he's putting it together. I mean, I don't think Asakura is that good. Uh, I just don't. Um, and Tim Elliott really exposed that. I think Smotherman, if he fights long and just really avoids getting just kind of, I want to say like wrestle fuck maybe. Um, I think he could really beat up Kaya Sakura. I'm surprised he's this much of an underdog, especially after his Figgy fight. I mean, allow me to let's take a look at their most recent opponents. Oh shit, wrong fight. I really do want to take a look at their opponents. Here we go. Let's see Kaya Sakura. He got his ass whooped by Tim Elliott. And he got his ass whooped by Pantoja. So we could go to Cameron Smotherman now, which he had a pretty close fight with Figgy, right? Yeah, yeah. He had a pretty close fight with Figgy, um, and I don't know. I think some of those shots he put on Figgy, Kaya Sakura's ass ain't gonna take that. I don't know. I think there's some real money to be made here, dude. Kaya Sakura got finished by Tim fucking Elliott, bro. Uh, Cameron Smotherman just went to war with, yes, a washed Figgy. That is true, but a Figgy nonetheless, the God of War nonetheless. Kai Sakura is not that. And I get it, people love him, but he's not that. He's not going to step up to the task. Um, I don't know, man. I low key think he's going to get finished. Uh, I fuck with Kai Sakura though. He's all right. So let's move on to the co-main event. We got Sergey Pavlovich versus Taliesin Teixeira. This one's pretty good. It's gonna be a fun fight. Someone's gonna get finished in the first round, I would say. I got Sergey. I mean, Taliesin Teixeira could like come in and really just catch Sergey. I could actually see a world. I don't think it's as much of a blowout as it may seem at first. But I do think the odds should be on Sergey as the way they are. You see, actually, no, maybe not as the way they are. The odds should be for Sergey, but if you got like an extra $5 to spare, throwing it on the share wouldn't be terrible. But Sergey gets hit. We've seen him get hit, uh, and at heavyweight, that's really all you need to a degree. So, but Sergey should win this. It's kind of his fight to lose, in my opinion, unless Teixeira really pulls some shit out of his ass. But yeah, I got Sergey here. Pretty straightforward. Not co-main event. This is the uh, third fight up. Now we got the real co-main event, the people's main event. Zhang Mingyang versus the GOAT Alonzo Menafield. This is so fucking funny to me, dude. Like I don't know how. Okay, this is what the odds should be fucking flipped here. I don't know how the fuck is this. Like, how is he only a minus 250? Like, maybe this is controversial, but Taliesin Teixeira has more of a chance of beating Sergey than fucking Alonzo Menafield of beating Zhang Mingyang. I mean, I don't think Zhang. I think Zhang's low key overrated too. Um, but I mean, this is Alonzo Menafield, bro. You just gotta, you know. But maybe I should be putting some respect on Alonzo Menafield's name. Uh, I don't know though, but just seeing his ass as the co-main event, like this is just funny, dude. We're gonna look back on this and be like, what the fuck? But it's okay. We got UFC White House coming. We got Conor McGregor coming. It's all right. It's all right. Um, I got Zhang Mingyang. Um, Alonzo Menafield might have him in trouble in the first round. Because Ming Yang isn't. Yeah, I don't think he has good defense really. Um, but I think after that first round, he's just gonna be gassed out, and Zong's probably gonna whoop his ass. God forbid it. Is this like a 5 round co-main event? If it is, God forbid he gets past the third. Alonzo Menafield's gonna fucking die in there. Um, so I got Zong, pretty easy. Main event: Song Yadong versus Davison Figueiredo. Honestly, I'm gonna go with Song Yadong. Uh, yeah, I mean, I do think like yeah, he got fucked up by O'Malley, but O'Malley's very good. Uh, yeah, I mean, I fuck with Figgy. Prime for prime, Figgy whoops Yadong's ass pretty dominantly. Probably he wins pretty dominantly. Um, but Figgy isn't prime anymore. Like I said, he seemingly looks slower and slower. Each time out, just a little bit worse, and it sucks to see. It really does suck to see. I don't yeah, I like Figgy a lot. Him in the Moreno fight, that was one of the first like crazy fights I feel like that I really locked in on. Um, and so yeah, it does suck to see him go down this path, but he's obviously still very game. That's how good he is, even in his wash status. He could fight very dangerous high level contenders. Um, but honestly, I actually see a world where Figgy can get finished here. Maybe not knocked out, but like TKO'd. Figgy kind of curls up. Um, I don't know. I just think Song Yadong, he's gonna be a lot quicker. And Figgy's not gonna really be able to get out of the way of the shots. He is, I do think out of all of his other opponents, he is more likely to land something on Yadong over like, his previous opponents. Like I said, maybe not Smotherman, but yeah, I think Yadong is just gonna really have his way with Figgy. It should be like a showcase outing. Figgy's gonna be tough, but yeah, Figgy just hasn't been looking too good. He looks just been kind of stuck, almost stuck in mud, dare I say. The Smotherman performance, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but yeah, I mean, it's he's just not looking the same. He's just not looking the same. So I got Yadong there. Um, and yeah, it's a UFC Macau card. Um, it's not a bad card, honestly. These prelims, yeah, these prelims aren't terrible. Definitely a local card. Yeah. Um, I mean, I wonder what time it'll be actually. What time? I'm EST, so oh wow, that'll be at 7 a.m. So I'll actually be at work. That is very interesting. Um, yeah, so let me know what you guys think of my picks. I'll go over them really quick. I got Perez, I got Jake Matthews, I got Smotherman, Sergey, Zong, and Song Yadong. Um, Let me know what you think. Uh, I don't really have much else to talk about. I already kind of talked about everything. I feel like. I guess something I do kind of want to bring up is the Netflix event and just how it's going to compare to the upcoming UFC White House because that is in about 2 weeks. What is that? June 14th. That is in. Let me see. Yeah, it's about 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Um, so we know the UFC Netflix card did about 17 million. Is that what I heard? UFC Netflix MVP Netflix card numbers. Um, yeah, here we go. Average of 12.4 million. Okay, I was wrong. So 12 isn't terrible either. That's already the most viewed event ever, right? But obviously it's quote unquote free. We can't weigh it the same as actual pay per view, seemingly. Uh, and there's not really other events to really compare it to. But here in a few months, we'll have these events to compare it to. We'll have the UFC White House event. Obviously, that one's gonna be fucking huge, but um, a lot of people have been saying that's going to be the event of the summer. It's going to be that versus the MVP card. But I would say both of them are going to pale in comparison to the numbers that McGregor's return is going to do. Now, if McGregor does his job, which he should, he does it very well. If he sells it, really sells the fight against Max Holloway, really, maybe goes on fucking Aiden Ross's streams, shit like that. I don't know. Um, I I think that'll actually shatter like any number for a long while at least. Um, y- y- Everyone's trying to compare these numbers with each other. The real event they got to be comparing to is Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. What did that do? Like 50 million or like 200 million? I know it kind of caused Netflix to crash a little bit, but a lot of people don't like to hear that, but that is the truth. Um, I was arguing with my uncles and grandparents and aunts and stuff. They're like, "Well, it's still Mike Tyson," but like I was like, "No, you guys don't get it. Like he's like 60 years old. He's gonna get his ass kicked, dude." They're like, "Well, it's Mike Tyson," and they fully believe it was a rigged fight. And that you saw that moment, Mike showed he was gonna knock him out, but decided not to. Um, and that I think it was like 250 million. But the point is that it really got the attention of everybody, and there hasn't been an event like that in like century decades. Maybe the Thrill of Manila, where like everybody was absolutely tuned into it. Um, it's been a long time. Maybe Mayweather McGregor. I feel like that was one where I remember even at school people were talking about that. Um, but everyone tried to act like Rousey Carano was that. It wasn't that. It was never that. Rousey's a big name, but it's like Jake Paul versus somebody else. Carano's actually a medium-sized name. Not a people know of her. She actually got a good amount of views I saw on Twitter, for different reasons, not nothing to do with fighting. But it wasn't a bad matchup, but the everything really does pale in comparison to Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. So I'm curious what this White House and McGregor return is going to look like compared to that. Um, because if Ronda and Carano, yes, obviously Ngannou, Nate Diaz, Mike Perry, um, if they could pull 12 million average, uh, I wonder and we know what Mike Tyson and Jake Paul can do, right? I wonder what seemingly a proper mega fight would be that we would consider, not a gimmick fight, a real fight, which would be McGregor Holloway, which would be Taporia Gaethje, Surreal Gone versus Alex Pereira at the White House, O'Malley versus Eamon Zahabi. Um, it really does make you wonder, and we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. What a fucking world if all this happens and Jake Paul can claim that in the modern era he's a bigger draw than Conor McGregor. There's a potential where that's the reality. Now, like I said, McGregor, he if he does his job well, which I have no doubt he will, um, he needs to pop up on these streams doing this and that. Definitely needs to put himself out there. Um, because he doesn't have the one liners like he used to. So he will ever do a bit of that marketing, in my opinion. I think that's the only event that could rival it, even the UFC White House. I do think the UFC White House has the potential to reach that heights, but it fully depends on how involved fucking Donald Trump gets. Because if you got Donald Trump talking about this shit, uh, during a press conference about the Iran war, like, oh, we just bombed people, but by the way, watch the White House. So, just something like that. And oh my gosh, the headlines would from both sides, the headlines would love that shit. Um, People just watch it to watch it fail. If there's like a mic broken or camera breaking or anything, people would be tuning in just to clip that off or something like that. Um, that really does have the potential to bring in a lot of views, but I think it really depends how much they're going to politicize it. It does depend how much the president himself is going to really hype it up and sell it because we are about, yeah, I guess 3.5 weeks away, 3 weeks away roughly. Um, and he hasn't spoken much about it, but that appearance at the White House, I feel like that got some steam to it. You got Ilya Taporia sitting right there where they ask him about the fucking Iran war. What a fucking world we live in. Um, and what a sport we're into, guys. What a fucking sport. I mean, there's no other sport I feel like that can uh that can say this is happening. Now the real question is, guys, are you going to the fucking ellipse? Are you gonna buy the 1.4 million or was it 2.4? I don't know, influencer package or whatever. Um, I kind of wanted to go to the ellipse. I was like, oh, maybe I'll go and I'll record something, but I am a little scared that somebody's gonna bomb that shit or something like that. Like, I mean, like I said, it depends how much they politicize it, but like if they really politicize it, uh, and shit starts getting really hot in the Middle East, uh, fuck that. I don't wanna go. It's like if you see an Attack on Titan, um, where Aaron goes across the sea and attacks that during that speech, I feel like it'd be something like that almost. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm really curious to see how that's gonna look. I definitely agree with the take that the Turkey's pyramid event Turkey's pyramid event absolutely will mog, as the kids say these days. It'll absolutely mog the UFC White House event. I mean, it looked pretty fucking cool. I don't know if the White House one is gonna look different. I, it might if you can actually see the White House in the background. If they have like a cool like bottom low uh shot of the cage where you can see the White House in the background where the guys are fighting, that'll be pretty fucking cool. I won't lie. Cool drone shots that could work. Uh, but yeah, I'm really curious to see how that's gonna look too. Uh, if Ilya wins, they're going to fucking Spain. They are going to Spain, which they need to. It's insane how the PFL and other events get there first. Yeah, they're not on the same level or the same size venues they would need. Um, that would be expected, but still, it's still pretty ridiculous. Um, but yeah, I mean, things are getting interesting in the industry. Oh, there goes my alarm. Things are getting interesting. Sorry, I threw my alarm off. Things are getting interesting in the industry of MMA. You got Scott Coker coming back. They don't have an official name yet. They're using like Strike or something like that as a temporary name holder. Now he did mention he's going to do tournament fashion. I am of the opinion that yeah, I'm not a fan of the tournament unless it's like actually same day, like fuck it, same day, no matter what. Um, then I think that's pretty fucking cool. On primetime, Cain Velasquez, he's pretty good. Probably one of the better heavyweights to do it. Although I do think, um, I do think like a prime Ngannou, or I mean, I don't want to say Tom, but maybe Tom would be able to beat him. Definitely the best of his time, I would say though. Um, for the most part, like prime for prime, his best performances would probably better than most other heavyweights. Um, I just think like at least for the modern heavyweights, they're just a little bit too quick, and their power is just too much probably. Uh, but it's cool. He's out of prison. That's pretty fucking cool. I'm glad. I'm glad he's out of prison. I don't want him to be in prison for shooting at a pedophile or something like that. Okay, let me see if there's any other news. I don't know if there's anything else. Maybe I missed something. Uh, yeah, I didn't miss anything. I mean, yeah, yep, nothing new, nothing new, nothing new. Was that McGregor? Oh, I remember that. Oh yeah, I saw that Dana White got on Time Magazine. It's fucking funny. Like, what the hell is he doing on there? Looks funky as hell in that photo. Anyways, uh, yeah. I don't really have much else, guys. I don't really have much else. That might actually be it for today. No more Survivor. Survivor's over. Um, so I'm in no rush or anything, but I do want to see when does UFC 6 come out? Because I do want to start streaming UFC 6 once it comes out. Um, I mean, it depends how much it is. If it's like $80, and I'm not buying that shit. But June 19th. Okay, so I still have a while now. I was never good at the UFC games. I would be lying if I said I like really played them. Honestly, I was always ass at fighting games in general, so I just kind of stayed away from them. Uh, but I will get into UFC 6. I'll finally kind of buy into the hype. I'll see what all the hype is about. Um, I know a lot of people say it looks ass, but I don't know. That's like kind of every EA sports game. They're all the same shit over and over and over. They're not gonna like reinvent the wheel, you know. People are still gonna buy it. So I'm not sure what else people are really expecting. To be honest, I saw they had Ricky Tercios in to do some dancing and shit. I don't know, to get motion capture, but I don't know. Yeah, the graphics always kind of look ass to me, honestly. Um, but we'll get there when we get there. I think it's gonna be it, guys. Like I said, I don't really have too much to talk about. I'll have a lot more to talk about after this UFC card this weekend. But I came a little unprepared for this show. I kind of napped all day. Wasn't feeling too good. I was up late, so I slept all day and I woke up like right before I started streaming, so I was a bit late as well. Um, but like I said, I'll have more for you. Once UFC 6 comes out, I do want to start a series where I start playing that. Gonna see how far I could get in the competitive scene, even though I've never really played before. I don't know. Comment down below. What do you think of my picks um, on the UFC Macau China card? Max Holloway by TKO on McGregor. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I think so. Um, although I think it's a bit closer than people think. I do think it's a bit closer than people think. I think McGregor might not look terrible in there. Um, but it's kind of the same thing with a lot of people coming back, especially like Henry Cejudo, and same thing with Mike Tyson, Jake Paul. With Mike Tyson, like it's not like we don't know what they've been doing the last few years. It'd be different if they were off the face of the earth and we don't know what he's been up to, but we know that they've been out partying. McGregor's case, he's been out partying. Um, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it. We could try. You'll probably whoop my ass. I am awful. I'm awful at UFC. UFC fighting games, god awful. Um, Dude, I actually didn't get past the tutorial on UFC 3 or UFC 4. Uh, it was on Xbox Game Pass. I was awful. I, but I'm down. I'm excited to try. I'm excited to try. Um, hopefully it's not like $80. I'll buy it regardless, but hopefully it's not $80 and awful. Um, but yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. Uh, do not believe that follow counter. I don't know why it doesn't update, but I'm actually at 51 subs. So if you're new here, make sure to subscribe. Who knows? You may win $100 in 34 days if we get to 100 subs. Um, touched in 2 years. Is it crossplay? I'm on PC. Yeah. I'm pretty ass at fighting games, to be honest. Um, but thanks for tuning in, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends. A real small channel. Share with your friends. It goes a real long way. Um, I am really tired. I'm probably gonna go back to sleep right after this. I think I'm coming down with something. I'm getting a bit sick. Uh, so hopefully I didn't sound too too nasally. Um, but yeah, let me know, what do you think of the Rico stoppage? Bullshit or not? Was it corrupt? Honestly, I don't want to say it was collusion, like they didn't collude and all that, but that, like I said, that ref wouldn't have stopped it if the shoe was on the other foot. Call it subconscious bias, whatever. Um, they robbed Rico for sure. I think Usyk would have essentially finished him in that final round. He looked like he finally found the mark. Um, but who knows? We'll never know. Um, but let me know what you think of that. Let me know what you think of my UFC Macau picks, and let me know what do you think is going to be the biggest event in the summer next year. Today, what is going to be the event of the year? Actually, is it going to be the White House? Is it going to be Razu Carano? Is it going to be McGregor? Something else entirely? Let me know. It could be a fucking PFL. I don't know about GFL. Who knows? Um, but let me know. Comment down below. Like I said, guys, real small channel. I really appreciate every single one of you who takes the time in to tune in. I love yapping about these combat sports. I really do. Um, and I get ecstatic to the fact that even any of you will listen to me. I'm live every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. Uh, thanks for tuning in. I do keep up with boxing too. I do. Not as much as MMA, but yeah. Oh yeah, I keep up with boxing as well. I try to. Uh, mainly the relevant stuff. Oh, I saw that with Davis. Yeah, Davis going to fucking jail. Um, or is he in jail? Or right, he's on the run. That's unfortunate. Uh, and I mean, he lost to Frank Martin, anyways. So, uh, yeah, who knows? He's gonna be fighting on brand risk or something, which I like brand risk. Last comment, last topic. I like brand risk. Aiden Ross's MMA event. I'm a fan of it. I know those misfits boxing and all that. I'm not a fan of that. They get too serious. They're have rankings and all that. They're not even YouTubers anymore. They're just shitty amateurs. Brand risk. They got Super Hot Fire versus fucking Ray J and other random streamers and YouTubers. That shit is hilarious. And yeah, Canelo fighting in Dubai, that's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. Um, they're missing the point. They're missing the point. Yeah, Canelo's good at pay per view and all that, but Canelo. The thing about him is that you put him in the states, and the Mexicans will travel for him. They will sell out any fucking stadium you give them in the states if it's within reach. They're not going to Dubai. They're not going to Dubai. And go to jail for drinking and shit. They're not going to Dubai. It ain't happening. Um, and I do agree Benavidez would beat him. I think prime for prime. Actually, I do think Canelo. I do think Canelo beats Benavidez, but you're right. I think for a while now, I feel like Benavidez would have beaten Canelo. I think the final like prime Canelo we saw was against Billy Joe Saunders. You're right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I get it. Hundreds of millions. I get it, but the alternative actually was to fight Jake Paul for a one fight deal on Cinco de Mayo. If I were him, I would have taken that and then fight Crawford. Imagine that Canelo whooping on Jake Paul for Cinco de Mayo. That would have been beautiful. Uh, but he wanted to chase glory or whatever, and yeah, I mean, I guess kind of bit him in the ass. He ended up losing all his belts to Crawford, and now he's stuck in like a multi fight deal in fucking Dubai. So. Uh, Weirdly enough, he should have went with Jake Paul. Actually, I mean that's so crazy to say, but uh, good for him, I guess. Uh, Generational money there. Um, but yeah, yeah, I think I'm gonna get out of here, guys. Also got to use a restroom a bit. It's a very short stream, uh, but your family sold horses to him? What the fuck? No way. Well, that's interesting, actually. Stay to talk about that. Okay, I actually do gotta go use the restroom. That's very fucking cool. D2 time. I don't. That's insane, bro. I mean, you gotta pull you gotta pull those connects, man. You gotta pull those connects. Get them on the open mat show for the interview, and we'll ask them the real tough questions. But Finland Horse Company is based in Eslo. Oh, interesting. It's pretty cool. Wow. I I have chickens. I have chickens. I used to do mess with alpacas and llamas, but um, never had a horse. Never had a horse. I One day I would love to have a horse. That'd be pretty fucking cool, but I don't have enough land for it right now. And they're very expensive. I'm sure you're well aware if your family's in that industry. But I keep saying it. It's really affecting me. I gotta go, guys. Um, I gotta go. You know, go to the little boys' room. Um, I will see you guys next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. sharp. I'll actually start on time this fucking time. Really, thanks for tuning in, guys. Truly, truly, truly. D2 time. I will see you next time. Your brother owns dairy and cattle. Dang, bro, that's fucking cool. Yeah, I got chickens. The people behind me, they got cows, and I want to hit them up. I want to buy a half cow, because, but I don't know if they're all natural and all that. Because like, what's the point, right? If it's not all that. Um, but yeah, I'll see you next time. D2 time. You're the real one. You're a real one. But goodbye, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys maybe Sunday. I might do an instant reaction on that, or Saturday on that UFC Macau card, just because it's in the middle of the day. So I'll have time to do it. But goodbye, everybody. See you next time. Thanks for tuning in.